For today's cup of coffee, Yates has given us a wonderful story that was first published in 1855 called The Devil's Hoofmarks, edited by Mike Dash. And a link to the original article will be provided in the description box. And Yates has given us the following excerpt from the article. On the night of February 8th through 9th, 1855, and one or two nights later, after a heavy snowfall, a series of hoof-like marks appeared in the snow. These footprints, most of which measured about 4 inches long, 3 inches across, between 18 to 16 inches apart, and mostly in a single file, were reported from more than 30 locations across Devon and a couple in Dorset. It is estimated that the total distance of the tracks amounted to between 40 and 100 miles. Houses, rivers, haystacks, and other obstacles were traveled straight over. Footprints appeared on the tops of snow-covered roofs and high walls which lay in the footprints' path, as well as leading up to and exiting drain pipes as small as 4 inches in diameter. The May 26, 1855 issue of Bell's Life in Sydney, published in its miscellaneous extracts column, a weekly dispatch, dated February the 18th. It appears on Thursday night last, there was a very heavy snowfall in the neighborhood of Exeter, in the south of Devon. On the following morning, the inhabitants of the above towns were surprised at discovering the footmarks of some strange and mysterious animal endowed with the power of ubiquity, as the footprints were to be seen in all kinds of unaccountable places, on the tops of houses and narrow walls, in gardens and courtyards, especially enclosed by high walls and palings, as well as in open fields. The superstitious go so far as to believe that they are the marks of Satan himself, and that great excitement has been produced among all classes may be judged from the fact that the subject has been descanted on from the pulpit. The impressions of the foot closely resembles that of a donkey shoe, and measured from 1.5 inches to, in some instances, 2.5 inches across. Here and there it appeared as if cloven, but in the generality of the steps the shoe was continuous, and from the snow in the center remaining entire, merely showing the outer crest of the foot, it must have been concave. Yates also stated that the interesting thing about the hoofprint account is that it is pretty recent as opposed to, say, 400 years ago. Journalists, as now, tend to beef up these things for increased circulation, but there are accounts given by clergymen attesting to this in their church records. Yates, that's just absolutely fascinating. And, I have the questions that I have when reading this was, okay, was the mystery as to what made the tracks ever solved? Were there any animals that were unusual to the location that were ever sighted? And did anyone happen to take any imprints of the tracks? And if so, have they been, examined in current times? Because the thing about the drain pipe, that's peculiar. Of course, when you've got hoof marks on a roof, it wasn't December, so I don't know that they had the reindeer thing going on at that point. It was just so there. I tried not to say it, but it was just so there, folks. So, wonder what type of an animal that it was. Something that came to mind also was the character of Mr. Tumnus, the faun, in C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I guess it's just, the cloven hoof type thing. Well, let's hope that the White Witch isn't lurking somewhere in the shadows. Although I think that she's kind of ruling the world right now. Anyhow, if anyone else has any kind of paranormal, supernatural, local legends, myths, UFOs, alien encounters, anything like that, if you've had alternate reality experiences with or without substances, send all those to me at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and we'll definitely ponder this and we'll make a video about it. If you don't want a video made, if you just need someone to listen to your story, that's perfectly fine. And if you have something else that you would just like someone to listen, again, the email is cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And thank you again so much, Yates. I appreciate you. We've got a couple of other stories lined up. We've got one from Joe. We have some more from Elle that has That was a great interview, so have some more of those coming up for you. Send them in, folks. The more I have to work with, the better my day goes along. You all have a beautiful, blessed day.